In previous videos, I've described the death of Geli Raubal in Hitler's apartment on the 18th of September 1931, killed by Hitler's own weapon. In this video, I shall consider the evidence that Hitler caused the death of his half-niece directly. Consider the following scenario. One consistent with the atmosphere inside the apartment at Prinzregentenplatz that day. The quarrel at lunchtime, already intense, escalates into a violent confrontation. Multiple witnesses later spoke of Hitler's volcanic temper, his sudden rages, and his tendency to shout, pound tables, and lash out verbally. Is it plausible, or even likely, that this particular argument became physical? One persistent rumour in Munich at the time, never officially investigated, held that Geli suffered a fractured nose during this fight, an injury difficult to reconcile with suicide, but consistent with a blow from Hitler. Geli, crying, panicked and cornered emotionally and physically, may have run into her bedroom, Hitler's pistol stored in the next room, perhaps grabbing it in an impulsive, desperate gesture. She could have brandished it as a threat, even against herself or against him. She had packed a suitcase. She intended to leave Munich, and the one man blocking her escape was now screaming at her. The tension was enormous. Alternatively, Hitler himself, who was known to carry his pistol habitually and to use dramatic intimidation during his rages, may have drawn the weapon first. In this version, the gun is not something Geli retrieved, but something Hitler introduced into the confrontation. A struggle follows. Geli tries to push him away, turn the weapon aside. Who knows? The gun discharges. She falls, shot in the chest at close range. If the shooting were accidental, this might explain why several of Hitler's aides immediately gravitated towards the lamentable accident explanation. It fits a panicked internal narrative, a struggle, a misfire, a tragedy. If it were intentional, an uncontrolled snap of rage, then the suicide story and the contradictory accident story would both be protective inventions. Now let's consider Hitler's behaviour in the hours and days immediately following the shooting. He'd argued with Geli that very day, yet he openly lied about the argument afterwards. He misrepresented her intention to travel to Vienna, claiming it was about music lessons when in fact Geli sought independence and potentially escape from him. He fled Munich almost immediately, leaving his staff to manage the scene and the press. Such flight is not typical behaviour for an innocent guardian. He arranged for Geli's body to be moved from Munich altogether, taken to Vienna under party supervision, short-circuiting local scrutiny. His emotional collapse, reported as hysterical weeping, self-reproach, and talk of suicide, could have been genuine remorse, or a performance designed to obscure more incriminating emotions. Crucially, Hitler never issued a clear categorical denial. The only statement resembling one was narrow, evasive, and crafted in a way that subtly weakened the official suicide narrative. For a man ordinarily obsessed with controlling his image, his silence was conspicuous. And then there is the most chilling point. When he came to power in 1933, at least 4 individuals who'd spoken too freely and known too much about the circumstances of Geli's death were murdered. Gregor Strasser, a powerful early Nazi rival, killed during the Night of the Long Knives. Father Bernhard Stempfler, Catholic priest who had connections to the household and was believed to know private details, found, shot and stabbed repeatedly. And I'm about to do another video on Bernhard Stempfler, which really does point to Hitler, in my opinion, having more to do with the death than is usually believed. There's Fritz Gerlich. You'll have seen the film Hitler, the Rise of Evil with Robert Carlyle, and his role is played in this film quite prominently. He was a fiercely anti-Nazi journalist. He was investigating Geli's death, and he was savagely beaten in Dachau. And Georg Bell, who was a source for Geli, a former Nazi insider, and he was also killed. 4 deaths. Now, these 4 deaths could be explained in some other way. These were all people, perhaps maybe not Stempfler, but the other 3 certainly opposed to Hitler. 4 men who knew too much. Maybe they asked too many questions. Hitler behaved not like a man wrongly accused, but one eliminating loose ends. And yet we're told he had an alibi. According to the official story, Hitler left Munich after lunch on Friday, heading north for Hamburg. His chauffeur, Julius Schreck, allegedly drove him in his Mercedes. Party photographer Heinrich Hoffmann later claimed he was in the car as well. John Tolland cites Hoffmann as asserting that Hitler spent the night at the Hotel Deutscher Hof in Nuremberg, which is around 150 kilometers to the north of Munich. Now, the alibi continues that the next morning, while Hitler was supposedly en route to Hamburg, he was informed of Geli's death. Rudolf Hess, at the scene of the body, allegedly telephoned the Deutscher Hof. The hotel then dispatched a motorcycle courier who intercepted Hitler's car. Hitler, now shattered, turned the car around and raced back towards Munich at such speed that a local police officer in Ebenhausen issued him with a speeding ticket. This ticket is the only documentary support for the entire alibi, and it conveniently places Hitler away from Munich at a time helpful to his defense. And as I was preparing this, I then realized that in Colombo, in The Death of a Rock Star, there's a similar story. It's a speeding ticket which puts the suspect somewhere else. You'll have to see that Colombo for yourself, because I don't want to tell you what happened in the end. But to return to Hitler, the alibi's real weakness is obvious. None of this proves he wasn't present when Geli died. Now, Nuremberg is maybe 2.5 hours from Munich. Maybe going a bit too fast, 2 hours, but 2.5, let's say. Hitler could have easily have returned to his hotel after the shooting, or even staged the entire departure as a deliberate cover. So who corroborates his alibi? Well, we've got Schreck, his chauffeur, whose loyalty was unquestioned. We've got Frau Annie Winter, Hitler's housekeeper, but she seems to be somewhat confused about some of the details of what actually happened. Heinrich Hoffmann was a trusted propagandist, and he had every reason to protect Hitler. Rudolf Hess, who was fanatically devoted. And there are those accounts that replace Hess with either Franz Xaver Schwarz or Max Amann, but both of these were equally dependent on Hitler's goodwill. So there isn't a really neutral independent witness, and there isn't a police confirmed timeline. And since no one admits to hearing the gunshot, the precise time of death wasn't established. It could have occurred at any point in the late afternoon, early evening, and it leaves a very sizable window for Hitler to drive away afterwards. The Munich police never conducted a thorough forensic investigation. They didn't verify whether the bedroom door, later said to have been locked from the inside, had truly been bolted, or whether it had been forced open by Hess, as claimed. We've only got Frau Winter's testimony for that critical detail, and she was deeply embedded within Hitler's household hierarchy. With no independently verified timeline, no reliable witness testimony, and a crime scene already compromised by political functionaries before the police even arrived, the case remained perfectly positioned for manipulation. Given all this, Hitler's behaviour before and after the event, the dubious alibi, the suspicious deaths of key witnesses, and the total absence of transparent investigation, could he have returned and actually killed her? Could he have come back and had the argument that I started off with. That I don't know. My own opinion is that Hitler probably didn't do it. I think that Geli probably opted for what might be called a spite suicide. I made that word up. I don't know if it exists by anyone else. Totally depressed, she killed herself. But in using Hitler's weapon in his apartment, she wanted him to know that he was responsible for her death. I don't suppose she thought of the political consequences, but maybe she did. However, I know little of psychology and how a person might react in this situation. But before making any decision on what happened, I would like you to consider the facts relating to Bernhard Stempfler, a priest who may well have been the person who knew too much. And that I shall tell you in the next video. Thank you very much for listening. I hope you found that interesting. I've done a number of videos on the death of Geli Raubal. I upload every day at 2000 hours my time, Central European time. I live in Poland and in Germany. And on Tuesdays and Fridays, I do longer sort of documentary type videos like this one. And on other days, I do a shorts video of up to 3 minutes in length. I also offer membership of this channel. Membership costs £5 or €6 or $6 per month, and that will give you access to currently over 800 videos. Unfortunately, I have to put them on membership because of the policies of YouTube, which has been attacking me in somewhat. They've taken my videos down for no reasons at all, or something like this, which is related to suicide. They also might take a dislike to. So that is why things like this are have to be on the membership page because of YouTube censorship. Anyway, thank you very much, and bye for now.